Today marks 10 years since that massive explosion in West Texas, just north of Waco, that killed 15 and injured dozens more. Now, over the weekend, a memorial was held honoring those who lost their lives. The fertilizer plant explosion was one of the worst chemical disasters in U.S. history. It destroyed several homes and businesses and caused $250,000 in damage. The West explosion is a tragedy that few Texans can forget even a decade later. Our John Salazar goes back to the place where so many died and so much has been done to try to recover.
Here in West Texas, this is the site of the Fallen Heroes Memorial. 15 people gone, not forgotten. 12 first responders and 3 local West citizens like grandmother and mother Judith Monroe. Her family speaking for the first time.
It's not a place I come super often. It almost feels like something that is from a movie.
The place, a permanent memorial. 15 people remembered in stone, all killed in the devastating West Texas fertilizer plant explosion.
10 years out now, looking back, it doesn't always seem like that was part of my life.
This is Jenna Remenschneider. Her grandmother, Judith Monroe, the matriarch of her family, is one of 3 citizens, not first responders, taken away by the April 17, 2013 blast.
She's missed so much for me and my brother and my dad and everybody.
The 65-year-old lived in an apartment building close to the plant.
It wasn't just the shock of losing my grandma, it was the shock of losing my school and my town.
God almighty damn. God.
April 17th was hell.
Oh my Lord!
So I was about right here when I heard the boom.
Garrett Upmore remembers that moment like it was yesterday.
Once I got to about right here next to this pole where these cows are at, that's when I was able to see the mushroom cloud from the explosion.
His cousin Buck, a cowboy, rancher, and local businessman, was also one of the 12 who ran towards the fiery hell. Buck was later named an honorary firefighter.
Next door to the fertilizer plant was one of his employees that worked for him, and that's where his farm was. He was letting all the horses out when the explosion happened.
This was one of the most destructive explosions ever investigated by the CSB.
Alongside the deceased, the lengthy multi-agency investigation found another 260 people injured. The blast decimated the fertilizer plant. 150 structures, including schools, homes, and other buildings, were either destroyed or heavily impacted. The U.S. Chemical Safety and Hazard Investigation Board called the West explosion one of the most destructive ever.
Buck, he was a dang good guy.
For the younger Upmore, the explosion cost his family a good-hearted man who would do anything for anybody.
He'd give you the shirt off his back if you needed it. He was one that did what God told him to do, and he was there to help anybody he could.
Seated next to her grandmother's marker, Jenna's vivid memory is sharp as she summons the spirit of who Miss Monroe really was.
She was the most gentle person to me and my brother always. She was just witty. She had this loud, cackling laugh that just filled the whole room, and she was a force to be reckoned with.
How much do you miss her?
A lot. There's so much I wish she could know and have been there for throughout my life. I just try to remember that, you know, she's still there in some way, even if she can't hug me or congratulate me or hold me while I cry, like she's still there somewhere.
Thanks for watching our YouTube channel, and for more refreshing stories about your community, click the subscribe button right over here. You can also download our Spectrum News app to get live news coverage, weather alerts, and more wherever you are. And don't forget to tune in to Channel 55 on Dish and DirecTV for live local reporting every single day. We'll see you then.